Hello. I say as if we haven't just been chatting
for the last 20 minutes.
Hello.
I'm so caffeinated. It's ridiculous, but it's fine.
I'm a little worried about her heart.
My heart is strong. Heart problems definitely don't run in my family.
Well, that's good.
That's a lie.
Oh, no.
My dad had a heart attack at like 36.
Oh, yeah.
So
I didn't know that. Ooh.
You did or you didn't?
I did.
Let's say I'm sure I
yeah,
talked to you about that.
Yep. Well, anyway, welcome to the haunt.
Hey, yo. What's up, Harold?
Harold, if you don't know, is our pillow that looks like a skeleton. And he always joins us on the couch where we record.
Amen.
I'm Brick.
I'm Sheesha.
Today we're going to talk about cemeteries.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yes, I did not think there were a lot of haunted cemeteries. Because I was always under the impression...
Why would you think that there's not a lot of... Be fucking for real.
No, because...
It's a cemetery.
Yes. But I was always under the impression that people don't want to haunt the place where their dead body is buried.
Why not?
Because that's weird. You don't want to hang around your decaying body.
I think it'd be great.
I would not want
to. But also, I'm not going to be buried. I'm being cremated. And you can put me on a shelf.
All right, cool.
Next to my sister. And whoever else. I guess my entire family said that we're all being cremated. We're not getting put to the ground.
Yeah. Well, my grandparents were cremated and buried.
My great-grandma was cremated and buried.
Yeah.
But my grandma told me, she goes, when I die, don't collect my body. Let me sit in the morgue so that they have to bury me.
That's actually not that bad.
And my mom looked at her and said, because of course this was after my sister died.
Oh. Weird timing.
And my mom goes, I'm not letting you sit in the fucking morgue, Mom.
But then you don't have to pay for a burial.
We're not going to bury her. She's going to sit on a shelf. What are you talking about? No one's getting buried. That's expensive.
Yeah, so is being cremated.
Not as expensive as being buried in a coffin.
True.
You know when you cremate somebody, you have to sign a thing saying that you understand that it's permanent?
Like death isn't permanent enough? Like what?
And then they can't put your loved one back together. How much water did you just spill?
In true haunt fashion, I've just spilled water on myself again. That happens quite a bit.
Yeah, how much?
Not a lot.
Okay. But yeah, no, my mom, she was in the office and she was signing these papers. And she's like, oh, something that this is permanent and that we can't bring her back and put her back together once we cremate her. My mom looks and goes, I'm sorry. What? and they go, people have tried to sue crematories.
I was just going to say.
Because they thought that they could get them back if they changed their mind.
I was just going to say, what lawsuit made that a thing? People are so dumb.
For real. You're being burnt.
Yeah. Oof.
You ain't coming back from being burnt.
No. Oh, gosh. But also, you probably aren't really coming back from being buried. Like,
you could be exhumed.
Yes, but that's a rare
like the
thing.
Saint and Sneakers? Heard about that?
No.
Look it up. It's crazy.
I will in a minute. Later.
In a minute.
I'll remember when I listen back to this podcast.
Pump me up. Yeah, exactly. I'm pumped. I'm jacked.
So I can tell. So there are a lot of haunted cemeteries, more than I thought. Like enough where I could do a second episode.
You should go to New Orleans.
Yes, my first cemetery.
For real?
Yes, is
it the one?
St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
It's probably the one.
That I'm thinking about?
I think so. It's the oldest cemetery in Louisiana, dating back to 1789.
Damn.
And
shit.
Was built to replace the St. Peter Cemetery, which burned down in 1788.
Ooh.
So
that's bad juju.
The actual cemetery dates back to the 1720s.
Wow.
So It's only about a block of land. It's estimated that over 100,000 people are buried there.
Wait, it's one block of land?
Yes.
How deep is it?
Well, New Orleans cemeteries are above ground.
That's right. They are above ground. It's a bunch of coliseums.
Yes. Because New Orleans is below sea level. So when you bury things, they come back up. Yep. So.
Wow.
So they have a lot of just bodies encased in cement. That's how they bury them.
Cool.
It's stacked above ground. Archaeologists have found many human remains in the cemetery that don't know who they belong to.
They're just there.
They're just there.
How'd they get there?
Well, they were probably buried there at some point. And
There's no names?
No.
Oh.
I mean, because remember the first cemetery burned down.
Right, yeah.
Which, I don't know how that happens with stone.
Yeah, that's my question. How we burn down? What happened?
Listen, there's a lot of weird stuff in New Orleans. So we're just going to
Which is why we need to go.
I would love to go to New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I would love to.
Spend a good week there.
Especially before it, like, disappears into the ocean.
Girl.
Because it's on the brink of that.
Can California go first for New Orleans?
Probably, yeah. So there's a good number of people that were actually buried underground before they realized that that could not happen in New Orleans. And I think that's where a lot of these bodies are from, where they're unidentified, because they've been moved around
so many times.
Yeah,
there's
by
lost.
The water under the ground.
It's been lost.
Yes. So it's really old, and it's just kind of become a hot mess.
That's fair. That's a valid one.
It's very unorganized. There's a lot of unmarked graves and that type of thing.
Solid.
It's also really well known for being the burial site of Marie Laveau. You don't know who Marie Laveau is. She was known as the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans.
Yeah, she was.
Yup. I have a coworker who loves her because she actually was a hairstylist. Marie Laveau.
Shut up. Was she really?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
So, she was an extremely powerful voodoo priestess before she became known as the Voodoo Queen. She was widowed, left with 2 kids, and started her own business as a hairdresser.
Love it. I gotta love it.
Yup. Mm-hmm. Gained a clientele, had many more children, just out of wedlock, retired,
boom,
and went into the voodoo business.
Hey. Hey, sounds great.
Yup.
Gotta love it.
Oh, yes. She's fascinating. I could do a whole episode on her.
Couldn't we all?
Yes. Anyway, people who visit the cemetery will put 3 X's on her grave, and it's said to be asking the priestess for good luck.
I'm putting 3 X's on her grave when we go there.
Okay.
I want all the good luck.
Okay.
All the good juju.
Sounds good.
Something bad happened?
No.
Okay. The way you're answering those questions.
I just don't know a lot about voodoo, and it kind of freaks me out, if I'm being honest.
There's dark voodoo, and there's, you know what? We'll get there.
Okay.
I'll look into voodoo, and I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
But I know some things about it, but I need to look at it a little bit deeper. But
and
there's good voodoo and there's bad voodoo.
I know there's good and bad to everything, but
yeah,
I don't know enough about it to know what's good and what's bad.
That's fair.
Yeah. So there's a lot of legend and myth surrounding her. And it'd be fun to do a deep dive story in her sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah. She was a Black woman in the 1800s who people are still talking about today. Which is very cool. Yeah.
Very rare.
Very cool. She's almost seen as a deity in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
She's amazing.
So cool.
She's amazing.
So yeah, that's the St. Louis Cemetery #1. You okay?
I needed a burp.
I just want to make sure that your heart is
My heart is beating. Great. It's not fast. It's not slow.
Okay.
It's that
I'm a little worried that it's not fast given how much caffeine you've had today.
Let's see. Hold on.
It should be a little bit fast. Because if not, you're going to have some really bad caffeine withdrawals.
88 beats per minute.
My heart's probably beating faster than that.
You forget how ADHD that I am. This caffeine is It's keeping me poolside.
I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to move to Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, Chicago.
There's actually from 2 cemeteries in Chicago that I'm going to talk about. It's the only, or not Chicago, Illinois. It's the only state that I have 2 cemeteries for.
Okay. Pop off.
So we're going to talk about the Resurrection Cemetery. And this one, I don't know if the actual cemetery is haunted, but there's a really fun story.
Okay.
So.
Love a good story.
The story goes, a young woman named Mary was dancing, having a lovely evening with her boyfriend, when at some point during the evening they got into an argument. She gets upset, runs away, starts walking home. On her way home, she gets hit by a car and dies. The driver drove off, was never identified.
That's some bullshit.
Yep. Mary was buried in Resurrection Cemetery, which is not too far from where she was killed.
Oh.
Fast forward now to 1983. But also I have no idea when that took place. I don't know what year Mary died.
Oh, okay.
So, not sure how far forward we're fast forwarding.
Okay.
But this guy named Jerry Palace started telling this crazy story where he was out dancing one night, met this girl, kissed this girl, had a lovely evening. They spent hours together talking. At the end of the night, he asked to drive her home, so she directs him to Resurrection Cemetery. She gets out of the car and disappears.
Oh, fuck no. Are you serious?
Yes. She has been identified as Mary.
Huh? How did she have that much power?
Right.
And energy?
Right.
That she didn't take from him?
No.
To do that?
I told you this is a wild story. So she is actually seen quite often
really?
At the front of the cemetery. And she'll sporadically make appearances at dances throughout Chicago. So they're all at different buildings.
That's fucking insane.
Right?
That's actually
there
insane.
There have been multiple people that have reported having full conversations with her.
Whole conversations?
Full conversations. This first guy was the only one who claimed to have kissed her, but yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's the wild one there. So like I said, I don't know if the actual cemetery itself is haunted.
But she's there.
Really, she's never really in the cemetery, though. She's always just like right outside of it. Or at a dance hall.
Wow, okay.
A lot of people, too, see her walking down the road where she was killed.
Oh.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to Baltimore, Maryland.
All right.
The Westminster Hall and Burying Grounds.
You had to put burying grounds in there for what reason?
Because Westminster Hall is not a gravesite or a cemetery.
Well, yeah, I know, but like...
The burying grounds are the cemetery of the Westminster Hall.
I just, okay.
It's one complex.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. But anyway, the Westminster Burial Ground was built in 1797 by the First Presbyterian Church of Baltimore. In 1852, they built the catacombs underneath it to hold more bodies. And there have been many, many different sightings at this cemetery. Most famous, this is the final resting place of Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, let me get Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. All right, Poe it up.
Yep, so tourists have gone to the headstone of Edgar Allan Poe.
I would love to.
And actually meet him, according to some of their...
I would die.
Right?
I would die.
Right?
I want to meet him.
Like, they kind of walk away being like, what the heck just happened? Like, he'll talk to people.
I
who
love
walk
it.
up to his gravesite. And like
it.
This actually makes me so happy because like in afterlife he's just like meeting his fans. Being like,
literally still all the way out
right?
to here. Absolutely, that man's a legend.
Right?
What the fuck? Let me go meet. Let's go to Baltimore.
Let's do it.
I want to meet Edgar Allan Poe.
He's not the only ghost there though.
I don't care about anyone. I want Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay, that's fine. But people have reported hearing muffled screaming from this cemetery. It happens
That's
at
not terrifying
any and all hours, whenever, just randomly.
Gotta love it.
And people believe that the screaming belongs to what they call the Screaming Skull of Cambridge.
Huh?
And so the legend is, there's not a lot of facts to back this up either, so I think it's just a story.
Yeah.
But There was a minister in the area who was brutally murdered. So brutally murdered that he continued to scream after death. They encased his skull in cement to muffle his screaming and buried him at the Westminster Burial Ground. And people claim to still hear him scream today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So imagine going there thinking, I'm going to meet Edgar Allan Poe, and just hearing him scream.
I mean, I hope I can do both at least. Damn. But I maybe just want to see Edgar.
There's also a 16-year-old girl.
Okay.
This one's not scary, named Lucia Watson Taylor, and she's often seen at her own headstone kneeling in prayer. That's all there is to her story.
No, you know what happened to her?
We don't know how she died. She's described, though, as having dark hair and wearing a white dress. So she's technically
a lady
a
in white. Oh,
yep.
With the dark hair, you're looking
yep.
like you coming out the ring.
Yep.
No, I don't want to see her then.
Well, she just sits there and kneels at her own grave.
Okay, that's still...
I don't think she, actually interacts with people. I think people just see her. Yeah, I don't know. There's also a groundskeeper that will call out anyone for being disrespectful.
Gotta love it.
I know.
Don't call me out, because I try my best not to step on nobody's grave, but there's so many people.
Oh, yeah. People can hear him, walking. You feel bad?
Yeah, I don't want to step on nobody's grave. I feel awful, so I try and, walk in between, but then, you...
It's hard to tell, though.
Where a grave is, because there's some that are not even marked.
Well, and I think if you're not, intending to be disrespectful, I think it's okay, because, you said, some of them aren't even marked, so it's hard to know,
I went to a cemetery in my hometown for a school field trip.
Wait, that's kind of awesome.
We walked to it, because it was literally...
Wait, I did that in school, too, and we had to...
Yeah, go...
What was that? The etching?
Yeah, etching of the headstones, the tombstones. The one girl in my class, her grandparents were buried in this cemetery. So she just went and etched her grandparents. Oh. But we were supposed to look around and find one, and but we went to it because in my hometown there's this Leduc mansion, and some of the first people in my town, and they're a really big deal, and they're really expensive. Okay. They were really rich people, and they're supposedly buried in this grave looking over the Mississippi, and stuff. And so you went. It was because he was he did history. He was a history, so we went there for mainly that. Yeah. But then also just to look at all the other we're supposed to look around and find all and find one that interest us and etch it, whatever, and do that whole thing. So yeah, we went to a field trip.
That's awesome.
And we walked back, because it was literally
right there.
It was 5-6 blocks away from my middle school.
In college, we walked to a toxic waste plant. It was right down the school from our college. It was actually pretty cool. That sounds
really cool. You know what, a fun fact? The hospital is right across the street from the cemetery. And so I could look out my window while giving birth to my son and see the cemetery.
That's perfect.
And then right next to cemetery, horse pasture.
Oh, perfect. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was great.
So now we're going to move on to Silver Cliff Cemetery in Silver Cliff, Colorado. This is just a very quick one, but it's very weird.
Aren't they all weird?
Yes, but this one's not your normal, ooh, there's a ghost.
Oh, okay.
This is it's an old cemetery, and it has two different sides. One side is Catholic, one side is Protestant.
Okay, pop off.
Yep. It's still used and owned as a cemetery, so it's not like these other ones that are pretty much retired.
Yeah, okay.
Since the 1800s, people have seen what they describe as blue ghost lights at Silver Cliff Cemetery.
Blue ghost lights?
Blue ghost lights. There's some really weird stories about this.
Like what?
I'm trying to remember, because I didn't actually write down specific stories, but there was someone who said they went there with some friends, and they saw these lights, just as the sun was setting, and they got bigger and bigger and bigger as the sun set. And they would walk up to them, and they would disappear. But then they would back away, and they would reappear. Like, it's really weird.
That's so bizarre.
Some people think that they're ghosts. Some people think that they're fairies.
Yo. Right? I don't fucks with fairies.
Regardless, a lot of people have seen them.
They're a little creepy if you ask me.
And these lights were actually featured in the August 1969 National Geographic magazine.
Shut the fuck up. They were not.
Yes, because they have no real explanation. And, like, a lot of people see them.
Interesting.
And I'm going to assume that they don't photograph because
no one's gotten a photograph?
You can't find any pictures.
Really?
It's weird.
Oh, wow.
It's weird. So, yeah, that's all for the Silver Cliff Cemetery in Colorado.
Interesting.
But now, we're going to move on to Savannah, Georgia. Which, of course, this is a haunted cemetery because it's in Savannah. Which, actually, I think Savannah is considered to be the most haunted city in America right now.
Savannah? Really?
Yes, you didn't know that?
I think I've heard of that. Now that it's, like, come back in my mind.
Yeah. Like, I think they just surpassed New Orleans, I think.
Really?
I don't know where this, like, it's an arbitrary list, but, like...
Yeah, right.
So we're gonna go to Colonial Park Cemetery. So, yeah, Savannah, incredibly haunted. They've had multiple epidemics of yellow fever and malaria, which we will talk more about in a moment. And from my humble understanding, it was kind of a focal point in the American Civil War. Mm-hmm. Which, again, we'll talk a little bit more in a moment. It's also a hotspot for voodooism, which I don't know if that's why it's haunted or if being haunted is what brings people there who practice voodoo. I don't know. It's like a chicken or egg scenario to me.
It's like the same thing that happened with the Academy one that I did. You know?
Yeah, the Devil's Academy.
Devil's Academy, yeah. It's kind of something like that,
so
where it's like, it's there, but then it kind of, you know, something probably underneath, you know, something energy-wise is in Savannah, and then, you know, people try to find their place, their balance, their peace, and so they start practicing this stuff, but then they're not being safe about it, so then it's, like, causing issues and causing the energy to get built.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun to do a full episode on just Savannah.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh, there's so much. But anyway, Colonial Park Cemetery was established in 1750. Thus, a lot of the first settlers of Savannah are buried there still.
That's crazy.
Right? Yeah.
To think about that?
Uh-huh.
Crazy.
From 1740 to 1877, it was used as a dueling grounds, which, thanks to Lin-Manuel Miranda, I just think of Alexander Hamilton.
I have yet to see that.
Oh, it's great. It's great. So it was a dueling ground for 10 years before it was a cemetery, and then it continued to be dueling grounds for another 100 years after.
It was death. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I like to think that it became a cemetery out of convenience. And that kind of makes me laugh a little bit.
You're not wrong. I can see that.
Right? Just like, oop, just killed someone.
Oh, let's go dig a hole.
Yep.
Oh, there's a one right there already.
Yep.
Just in case it were to happen. we got it taken care of.
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
It is kind of fucking hilarious. I'm not even gonna joke that. Just like having the jail next to the fucking bar.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yup.
You don't gotta do a lot of effort to get these people where you need them to go.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. There was an epidemic of yellow fever in 1820. And it is rumored that 666 people died. If you look it up, the actual number is 700. People say that they just rounded it up because they wanted to get far away from the devil's number. So, you could just round it up to like 1. You don't need to go up to 700. It could just be 667.
I don't mind 666.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I also...
There's some bad vibes with it.
But I was also born on the 13th.
Yeah.
And supposedly 13's a bad number, but I
don't think 13's a bad number.
People are like superstitious, like it's a bad number.
Yes.
But I'm like, I love 13. 13's a great number to me.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for when my birthday lands on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And I think it's only happened once that I can remember so far. I think.
See,
but
and
like,
to me,
I love, so I anything unlucky, for some reason is lucky to me.
Okay.
So like 666 is not like it's not an unlucky number to me. Like it's
it's not necessarily unlucky. To me, it represents the devil. Like it's like, hey, the devil's around. That's what that number is like, kind of telling you like, hey.
I don't get that.
What
vibe.
Up? The devil's here.
I don't get that vibe. I don't get the vibe at all.
That's how I feel about
666. But also like
13.
The devil's just a fallen angel.
That's true.
He's just a fallen angel.
True.
He's just an angel that,
that is true.
That did a little wrong. Everyone's done a little bit of wrong in their life,
Yeah.
No one's perfect.
That is true.
So, like, that's how I see it. I'm like, I don't see it as, like, this some demonic can there be demonic forces?
Yeah.
Yes. But I don't got that juju in me.
Yeah, that's
why I don't think of 666 as, like, a bad number or, like, the devil's number, because the devil's just a fallen angel. Anyone can be a fallen angel.
That's true.
It's not that hard to be a fallen angel, clearly.
Yeah. That is true.
So like it's when people make it a demonic thing and make it negative and bad.
And especially too, this was in 1820.
Yeah.
So people are gonna panic over the number 666.
Yeah, they're gonna panic regardless. I want to know who created 666 though. Where did that come from?
It probably came from
who chose that number.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I want to know.
Numbers in general are like, huh?
Yeah, who chose the number of 666 to be the devil's number? I want to know.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. That's a really good question. I wonder if there's a way to track that and go back and see where it actually comes from. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Cool. Anyway, they had other yellow fever epidemics, as well as malaria epidemics. But the one in 1820 had the highest death count.
1820?
Yes.
Yeah.
The 666. All of those people who died in the 1820 yellow fever epidemic are buried in a mass grave at Colonial Park Cemetery.
Oh, well, that's just kind of fucked up. Well, I don't like mass graves at all.
Here's the thing.
I think it's disrespectful.
Here's the thing, though. When you have that many people, it's just unrealistic to have a separate grave for each of them in such a short amount of time.
I understand, but how are they doing it though? Like, are they like laying them nicely?
I have no idea how they do it.
Or did they just
throw them in there?
Yeah, do the Holocaust and just woo? That's not funny to joke about. I just, but like,
yes, I get what you mean.
It's not funny, but like that's my. Cause that's what I think of, where it's like it's disrespectful if you're just throwing them in there, but if you're like laying them nicely and respectfully and like being dignified with it, then it's okay. Then cool. But whenever I think of as mass grave, that's what I think about, because it's all we've ever heard.
Right.
It's just mass graves, people just being thrown in there, dumping the bodies in there, and then it's just it's whatever. I don't like that. That's awful.
I think this was more out of a necessity for just not having the resources to do it
all the time.
Yes,
to get it done properly.
Right. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the Civil War. Anyone unfamiliar with the American Civil War? Very simplified version. It was from 1861 to 1865. The North was like, hey, slavery is a little bit inhumane. We probably shouldn't do that.
Gotta go.
The South was like, okay, but I need slaves to run my business and household, and I don't want to change, so I'm okay with treating people inhumanely.
If you don't know, I am mixed. So, I'm about the Civil War and the Civil Rights movement.
Yes.
Fuck out of here.
The North won, thank God.
Y'all didn't see that? I just flipped.
It is actually still a big foundational issue of our nation, and I think it's actually the bloodiest war on American soil.
Oh, 100%. Okay? I just I just scratched my nose and I accidentally pulled out my septum and it kind of stung a little bit.
Ouch.
I'm good though.
Okay.
I might sneeze, but it 100% was. That was the.
I mean, to be fair, the only other war that we've had on American soil, I think, is the Revolutionary War. Yeah. Aside from Pearl Harbor, wasn't a war; it was an attack.
It was an attack, yeah.
So I think
then the Cold War was a Cold War. Nothing fucking happened.
That wasn't here.
No, it was in Cuba.
That's what I mean.
But
on American soil,
it was the
close only ones on American soil
were the Revolutionary and the Civil War. Yeah. Revolutionary, yeah. Civil War was that was intense.
I should say United States soil.
Yeah. That was intense because we've been involved in a lot of wars.
Yes. The reason I bring up the Civil War is because during the war there was something called Sherman's March to the Sea. So this was a general named Sherman took his troops. He was a Union Northern General. That laugh is so loud. Tony, please make that quieter.
Let's take it again. He's a what?
He is a Union Northern General.
All right. Cool.
Fought for the good guys. He and his troops marched 258 miles from Atlanta, Georgia, down to Savannah. Savannah is a coastal city, so hence the name Sherman's March to the Sea.
Yeah.
They took down and took over every city on their way to Savannah.
Boom.
When they got to Savannah, Savannah just immediately surrendered.
Boom.
Which, yeah.
Boom. You already know. You heard it.
Yeah.
You heard it. The pigeon came with the letter. You knew that they were fucking it up.
So this was kind of a big moment for the North. It's said, though, that while Savannah was under Northern control, some of the Union soldiers thought it would be funny to head over to Colonial Park Cemetery
don't do that.
Mess with some of the grave
Don't do
sites.
it. Why would they do that? Oh my God, y'all were fighting the good fight, and you had to go and fuck it up.
People are flawed. No one is perfect.
Trash.
So there's no way to prove this, but people say that they did dig up some graves.
They better not have
and move them.
Oh my God.
But for sure, they did change some of the dates on the headstones with their bayonets.
Up.
So some of the people who are buried there would have been over 400 years old.
At time of burying?
According to the dates on their headstones.
That's fucked up. Y'all were fighting the good fight and then y'all fucked it up. What's people's problems?
Listen, people are flawed.
That's just disrespectful.
It is. But also, these are their enemies, right?
I understand, but they're dead.
Yes,
in the ground.
It was not the right thing to do. I agree.
That's bad juju.
It is.
That's awful.
Well, it probably didn't help much with the haunting of this cemetery.
Probably not.
There was a lot of displacement in the cemetery as it got overcrowded. So that's why there's no way to prove if the soldiers actually moved people around or if it was just people being dumb trying to make more room.
Either way, fucked up.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. Where am I? The cemetery is now closed at night, but it was not always closed at night.
Wait. Aren't all cemeteries closed at night?
No.
Are they not?
No.
For real?
I don't think so. It's up to the cities, like the owners of the cemetery.
Yeah, but
they make the hours. But they're not all closed. They might all be closed at night now.
I feel like they should be, just because.
Yeah.
If someone's not, I'm not sure if the groundkeepers are not there all night now. You know?
Yeah.
Or like somebody's there overnight.
Maybe. Well, this is kind of creepy because it was used at one point for voodoo rituals. When people would show up in the morning, there would be evidence of like bones missing from grave sites.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, like I just...
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh my God.
So now moving on to the ghosts. Okay. So this cemetery, for whatever reason, is considered the most haunted place in Savannah, which is saying something because it's Savannah.
That's fair.
Yeah. The only specific ghost that I was able to find was named Renee Rondelier. Mm-hmm. And historians say she doesn't actually exist. Oh. My theory is she is a demon in disguise. Because here's her story.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay.
She was almost about 7 feet tall.
Be fucking for real.
Which makes my demon theory sound more real.
Yeah, because there's no fucking way.
But that's what makes her super recognizable when people see her.
I would shit myself.
She is said to have killed 2 young girls in the cemetery.
Oh, no.
And then, because of killing these 2 girls, she was mobbed and hung in a tree in the back of the cemetery. And so people will either see her hanging in the tree or else just walking around the cemetery.
Could you imagine this 7-foot-tall woman?
Right?
Hanging in a tree?
Right? Like, how do you even
walking around?
A 7-foot-tall woman?
You don't.
Like, who's tall enough to do that?
Not me! Not anyone they were short back in the day. People were short.
Right?
People were short. What the fuck you mean?
Yeah, no.
What do you mean?
I know.
7-foot-tall woman, my
That's
ass.
why I think she's a demon in disguise.
Probably, but I want to know what demon, because aren't they supposed to be smart? Okay, no woman around here is 7 foot tall. No woman.
Well, that adds to her creepiness, right? Like, she wasn't normal to begin with, and then she kills 2 people. Oh, she ain't normal.
She definitely ain't normal. She killed 2 little girls, supposedly.
Yeah.
I want to know who hung her, though, because, Lord.
It was a mob.
But...
Maybe they climbed on...
I want to know who
I just spilled more water.
On your computer. Oh, wow. It's right there.
I know. It's everywhere. But I don't want to, touch my mouse because then it'll move everything.
Look at you.
We'll just do that. We're good.
Ay. But there's a rag right there. You want to pat it?
I knew there was a reason I didn't clean up. Okay.
But, like... I can't. That's fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck on that she's 7 foot tall.
Yeah,
I'm stuck.
Right? She's the only named ghost that I was able to find. But guides of the area say that this is the place where most people will feel a ghost.
I feel my blood pressure.
You know...
And not because of the caffeine, because of the 7 foot tall fucking ghost.
I mean, the caffeine probably doesn't help.
We just saw. It was only 88. Okay? What are we at now? I'm talking to you, Siri. Your brother. Yeah. 87.
Okay. It went down. Okay, anyway.
It went down.
I have one more cemetery here.
Okay.
We're going back to Chicago, Illinois. It's actually just outside of Chicago.
Where my family's from.
Called a little town called Midlothian. Midlothian?
Sorry, can't phone a friend. My dad's dead. So
that's okay. It doesn't matter anyway. Just outside of Chicago. Okay. It's called Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. I would love to go to this one, to be honest. It's in the Rubio Woods Forest Preserve. Ooh. And the
sounds fancy.
Yeah. Well, it is an abandoned cemetery.
It's abandoned?
Yes.
So it's creepy as shit. Cool.
Yes.
Got it.
The first person to be buried there was in 1844, and the last person to be buried there was in 1989. So...
Bless you. Excuse me.
When it was first established in 1844.
That's a long time to be burying bodies.
Yeah, it was over 100 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's that amount of space.
Well, some of the cemeteries I talked about are still in use. It's over 200 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy that there's that much space.
Oh, yeah.
But then it said that it's abandoned. That sucks. Who takes care of it?
We'll get there.
Okay.
So, in 1844, it was described in the local newspaper as serene and undisturbed. So imagine just a peaceful little plot of land to bury your loved ones.
Okay.
In the early days of the cemetery, a local farmer was hired to upkeep the land. And he was out plowing the fields one day. And there's this pond that's just right across from the cemetery. And his horse got stuck and kind of fell into the pond and dragged this farmer with him.
Oh.
And they both kind of got tangled up in the reins, and they both drowned.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. There have been multiple reports of people seeing this farmer with his horse. He's either by himself or with his horse. But they see him just kind of walking or riding. So yeah.
All right.
There's also kind of along similar lines with the farmer, people see a white farmhouse, which this to me is really bizarre because they will see an entire house with like a porch and everything, and they describe it as glowing, and it just kind of appears and disappears.
Absolutely not.
Like
the fucking staircase in the woods.
Yeah.
No.
But like an entire house.
No. No.
In the 1920s-ish, Al Capone was hanging around the area.
My man.
Being one of the world's most famous mobsters, he killed quite a few people.
My man.
And some of the deaths happened at the pond that the farmer and his horse had died in. It was very convenient. He would just shoot him, push him in the pond.
Hey, sounds all right to me.
Yep. In 1932, Robert Ripley, later known for Ripley's Believe It or Not,
Mm-hmm.
had a newspaper column where he talked about the cemetery. I'm not entirely sure what he said about it, but the fact that he found it interesting means, oh, there's probably something more going on
also
here.
Kind of shitty.
Yeah.
So we'll just.
I mean, yeah. But because of this newspaper column, everyone wanted to visit this cemetery.
Oh God, here we go.
And unfortunately, this is when the vandalism started.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. By the late 1940s, early 1950s.
He could have been more respectful like Al Capone and not have outed it to people. Jesus.
Well, he didn't want to out it to people because that's where he killed people.
Well, exactly. Be like Al Capone. Be quiet.
So, anyway, the cemetery became known as a haunted place.
Duh.
Yeah. There are quite a few deaths. I actually said, no duh. Is in my notes.
Duh.
No duh. So the peace has been disturbed.
Obviously.
By the 1970s, upkeep of the cemetery had just kind of stopped.
Clearly.
But the vandalism did not.
Ay. Okay.
So, since there was no longer someone taking care of the land, a lot of the vandalism wasn't fixed. Someone said that there is hundreds of graves there and maybe only 10 markers that are still where they're supposed to be. Right?
Don't be shitty.
Right?
Don't disrupt somewhere where somebody's having their final resting place.
Right? It's rude, especially when this was such a peaceful place.
Right. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So there have been
shitty.
reports, right? So there have been reports of people seeing a woman in white at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
All right.
People say she looks like a real person, except parts of her are see-through. In 1991, we get one of the most famous paranormal pictures in existence today. It's from Bachelor's Grove Cemetery, and it's of a woman in white sitting on a grave. I'll show you this picture later, because I had seen it before and didn't know that it was from this.
Yeah, I want to see this picture.
I'll show it to you. This picture was taken by a young woman named Jude Huff, and when she was at the cemetery with her mom, I think she was on some sort of tour. She claims that there was no one there when she took the picture, and she says it took her like a few times going through her pictures to even notice it.
Really?
Yeah. It shows a woman in white sitting on a grave. Her legs are somewhat transparent and her neck is transparent, but otherwise she looks like a normal person.
This one?
Yes. Isn't that insane? Yeah, it was taken in the early 90s, so it's not the best quality, but if it actually is like a ghost, it's amazing. Yeah. That's one of the most famous pictures in paranormal.
I've actually never seen this picture.
Really?
Really. But that's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
I really hope that's not like fake, because that...
I know, me too.
Like, that's insane.
Isn't it?
And her legs are like
it's
transparent.
It's really weird. Because it looks like a real person.
Yes.
You have to zoom in on it to be like, oh wait, she's transparent.
Yeah, you can see through her.
Yeah. Yeah, people see her a lot.
Do they? I think I'd shit myself.
Right.
I want to see it. That'd be really cool. But then I'd also just
react.
shit myself at the same time, you know?
Yeah. So those are the cemeteries I have for you today.
The cemetery does look real sketchy.
Right? It's bad because it's not been upkept.
Yeah, it looks really sad.
It does.
Then this lady, created the photo, and she's sitting there smiling.
No.
Man, I don't think we want to do that. I don't know. And then, and people just, there's so many graves there, and y'all is just walking over everything.
Yep.
This is, crazy.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm so, wow. That's
and like
crazy.
I said, there's so many more. I could do a whole nother episode on haunted cemeteries.
Oh, I believe it. and that's so sad that all these. It's a very eerie place.
Mm-hmm. yeah, it seems really eerie.
Yeah. Oh, of course they went there.
Ghost Adventures.
Of course they went there.
Gosh, they probably invited a bunch of demons to just hang out there. Like,
they're just chilling. Chilling like a villain.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Right?
Oh, wow. That photo really just... Wow.
Yup.
That's cool, though. Like, I knew there was a lot... I figured most cemeteries were...
See, and I always thought they weren't.
Were haunted.
Because I've always felt, like, super peaceful in cemeteries. Like, I've never felt... Probably because I haven't been to a haunted one, but...
Now, they're all... It all depends on, you know... Lots of factors. It depends on, like... If you go there with good intentions.
Yeah.
And peace on your mind.
When I think a lot of the cemeteries I've gone to, too, there haven't been a lot of other people there. And the ones who are there to visit loved ones. You know, like, it's not like a vandalism.
Right, exactly. Oh, I should probably go visit my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where cemetery.
Oh.
I was very young when she died. Okay?
That's fair. No, that's fair.
I have no idea where
that's
it's
fair.
I have to ask my uncle.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've got for you today.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right?
Well,
sweet.
On to the next one.
See you next time.
Bye.